are Two Real Audio, Terry and Brendan. We are a independent music label that distributes music primarily through physical releases.
Right. So, I mean, the way we started out and the way that we came up with the idea for our company is that we're both people who enjoy listening to underground music ourselves. So, we listen to a lot of albums, that can only be bought through Bandcamp and stuff like that. A lot of indie music and obscure music that doesn't have, major label signage or anything like that. So we thought, we were both people who have the skills necessary to do so, and people who enjoy what it is we want to sell. So why not monetize that, and then also help people like artists that don't have contracts of any kind, or who might not have the capability to produce their own physicals. Do that, because even though we both like indie music, something that's definitely also becoming a big part of the music world right now is the aesthetics of having physical copies and things like that. I mean, you can see that with things like Record Store Day, which have become immensely popular. And then even then, I mean, that could be considered a sort of high fidelity thing, but you can see more and more that's turning into just purely an aesthetics thing. Like you would buy a t-shirt, you might buy a cassette. For instance, like MGMT on last Record Store Day, they released like a single. And the idea isn't necessarily that this is really high audio quality, because it's not. The point is just that you have something physical to own from a band you like, that you can put on your shelf or something like that.
Yeah, when we first came up with the idea, we were thinking of reel to reel, which is way back.
Yeah.
But since then, we sort of narrowed it down. We're going to start out only releasing cassettes.
Yeah.
And
that's for budgetary reasons. It's just because,
right. It's just so that the duplication for a cassette is much less expensive than it is for vinyl or reel-to-reel.
Right. So we definitely want to do those things. It's just that the way we want to start out is as a cassette label, because we can take that cost on, and that wouldn't be an issue for us.
Do we want to talk about the prices of the cassettes? Or do you want to
Yeah, sure, that'd be fine. So, I mean, we've already gotten basically a lot of our financial information organized, and this is a really good time for us to do what we're doing. I mean, this is where the culture's headed. We've looked at, I mean, not that you would know any of them, but there are in existence other labels that do this same sort of thing. There's a company called Beer on the Rug in LA. There's
Lapbox Tracks, Mumble,
Lapbox Tracks, all sorts of. I mean, because the idea is not any longer. We don't want to be the next Sony or the next EMI or something like that. The idea is that you make these short runs of cassettes for dedicated fans of certain groups. So for us, it works out really cost effectively. So let's say we have an artist who has maybe only a pool of 3,000 to 4,000 fans on Facebook. That's fine for us if those fans are willing to buy a physical album from these people, because we can produce a run of maybe 100 cassettes of their newest album for about $200. It's maybe a little less, maybe a little more, and then each one of those is made for around $230 to $250, and we can sell that for $10, and that's including shipping, and we'll still make a pretty decent profit on every single cassette we sell, and we'll break even relatively quickly.
Now, for convenience, many people like to have as well a digital copy of their music.
Mm-hmm.
That's becoming a pretty big standard nowadays, as people like to listen on their phone or computer. So each item that you purchase, you're able to purchase it also via digital download code.
Yes, the idea, we would operate, as others have, we would operate through Bandcamp.
Right.
And the way that would work is we would sort of act as a label for physical releases purely. So you would go to our website, we would have a bunch of albums laid out from different artists. You'd probably be directed there by the artist, although we'll do some advertising ourselves. And you would see, this album came out, I can buy the digital download for $8, or I can buy the cassette, which comes with the digital album, a download code, for $10. And the idea is that will even more so incentivize the idea of buying a physical.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and as you said, or I don't know if you said, all the physical releases you buy, so if you buy a cassette...
we'll come with download codes. It's not an either-or type of thing. It's just, the idea is that you pay a little bit more and get this cool product.
So you're paying more, and then you're also getting, as well as getting the digital version, you're also getting the physical version to play wherever.
And the artists we've talked to and we don't have signed contracts yet, but we do have we're in the process of producing albums for about 3 artists right now. We have Limbo, who's an electronic artist from the Bay Area. We have Luke Hazel, who's a rapper from Atlanta, and Robert Sando. Yeah, Robert Sando, who's a student here. So, I mean, these people can come from anywhere, It's an internet-based business. We can ship anywhere in the U.S. We also can ship internationally if that were ever to occur, and the cassettes would only cost like $12.50, so it's not even that much more.
So it's very much run through the internet. We don't need
it's
a
an internet-based
place to have
business.
a business setup. We don't need a building or anything.
We don't need it. We don't have any overhead essentially at all, except for our Bandcamp costs, which are a monthly fee, and then the down payments on the cassettes, which we're contracting from a company in Canada called
Duplication.ca.
Yeah, Duplication.ca is the people we would work with to actually produce the cassettes, because we don't want to have the machinery in our homes necessary to do that, and it wouldn't be cost effective to do that. So.
Right. So since we have very little cost being put into it, we break even pretty quickly.
And also our investment that we would need to get started is extremely small. Like
exactly.
the loan we would need realistically to get started could even be like $1,000 is all we would really need.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, an option might even be, like crowdfunding, something like asking family and friends first off, and then maybe going to something like Indiegogo or Kickstarter and giving out gifts like shirts or free cassettes or something like that.
And one of the nice things about this sort of style of music is that a lot of the people that listen to the music are sort of tightly knit. It's not like a very wide genre that is hard to pinpoint. Like the people that are interested in it belong to forums and
and we're tapping into existing communities. The thing that's really easy about what we're doing is that it's not even so much like thinking of as a competition doesn't even really. Do you know what time we're at?
Yeah, you're 6 minutes.
Perfect. What we're doing is not. It's hard to even consider it a competition really, because no one's going to. If someone's going to our site, they probably already know what they're going to buy. They've been directed there because they like this artist, and we are the only ones who have a cassette release for this artist. It's not like a competition between us and all the other indie labels. It's just that by being another indie label, we're able to release more artists that have not yet had the opportunity to be released on the platform like that. And we're obviously not competing with like big box music stores or anything like that. It's all very much based on the idea that we are selling to people who already want this product.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the only place they can get it from these artists.
Yeah, and even though the demographic is relatively small, we do think it's reliable because it's a very it's very aesthetic based. So it's not like
it's a luxury product. It's not something you would buy because you need it. It's something you buy because you like this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And as we said, we don't even to us it's not even a concern how popular the musician is. To a certain point, because the idea is not that we're going to be produce the next like famous pop musician. The idea is that we will make short runs with people who have tight knit communities as fans that will buy this album, and if we make enough of those, it's not that difficult to break even and make a profit.
And artists aren't even contracted for us for like more than an album. So like if an artist wants to do like if they have one album they want to do on cassette, they think like, hey, this would be a cool album to release on cassette. They can contact us, and just for that one release, we'll have it on Too Real.
That's an important point also, is that we're not a typical label in the sense like artists aren't signing with us for album deals where we're like record and produce their album. We're mostly a distributor. Mm-hmm. We're a distributor for internet musicians, internet indie musicians who think, hey, for this one, I would like to be able to sell a cassette or a CD or later a record or a reel-to-reel, something fun, but I don't want to take on those costs initially. So what we do is we make a contract with that artist for that album. We get those songs licensed to us. We put down the money to produce that album on cassette. We make that money back, and once we break even, all profits on that cassette with the artist are split 50-50. So it's a pretty simple, easy, cheap, low-risk thing that we're doing here.
Yes, the artists are actually getting a lot of sort of
it's not a bad deal at all for the artists. We release and produce the album for free.
They aren't putting in any money to it. They're releasing it through Too Real, and then once we
they
break
can
even,
only profit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they profit once we break even, and that's it. That's all that can ever happen. They're never going to lose money on it, so it's really attractive to the people we've talked to, and I imagine to people we'll talk to in the future.
Cool.